about as good as I like it to be.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, good enough. All right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm
Hold
Mikey.
on. When you're gonna do your intro, pull back a little bit from the mic.
I'll do NPR style.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Musicians Forced to Podcast by your friends in Harlem Hayfield. I'm Mikey Shoneman. Next to me is Brandon Pilger.
Hello.
Mr. Hugh Sullivan is running the camera and the board this evening. Tonight's topic, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? No, I had something because I got to, I needed to pick up, I'm just buying cough drops all the time because it's winter and it's dumb and it's cold and it sucks. But when we played that show in Saratoga, Jocelyn had throat coat cough drops. And they're awesome because their teas are fantastic for vocals and shit. And I was wondering what that got me thinking about is what, if any, are your pre-show or post-show rituals or superstitions? Like something you have to do to know you're going to be on, or if I don't do this, I'll mess up something.
As you know, I have to play the beginning of Light Me Up if we're going to play it.
You write complicated shit?
I have to play it like 4 or 5 times or I will mess it up. I also have to play my solo to Brother. That has to happen. If we're going to play the song, I'll mess it up. And I have to run harmonies or I will mess those up. But those are just things that
That's just warm-ups, though.
You said rituals.
I said rituals or superstitions.
Well,
so that
it sounds like you want a superstition.
No, it sounds like I'm saying my ritual is like I want my cough drops. I want my fucking vocal spray.
Well, I have to get 2 or 3 beers.
Like that.
Does that count?
That always helps. But you don't have like, I need to wear these socks or I need to wear blah, blah, blah.
Actually, now that you say that, that's fucking funny that you say that because I do wear.
Do you wear socks?
I wear fun socks to every show.
Okay, now we're talking.
And nobody.
This is what I'm talking about.
Nobody knows that.
No shit. I had no idea.
It's funny, dude. You just said you wear some weird socks. You could ask Megan.
Yeah.
She'd tell you, like, I wear, like, the craziest looking socks. Dude will have, like, pink flamingos on them. And,
no shit.
At every single show.
I didn't even know you owned pink flamingo socks.
If you looked in my sock drawer, half of them are these crazy ass
show socks.
I have Yoo-Hoo socks, like the drink.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yoo-Hoo? I'm torn on Yoo-Hoo.
It's gross. I don't like it.
Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's like
it tastes plasticky.
You want chocolate milk, but you put ice cubes in it, and then you let the ice cubes melt, and then you went and got in the pool for 4 hours, and then you come back and then you drink that chocolate milk. That's Yoo-Hoo.
Yeah.
It's like watery old chocolate milk or something.
Well, I have those socks. So.
And they also make a hell of a sock.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
But yeah, I mean, as far as warm-ups go, I try to do the lip bubble shit but I don't really have any warm-ups. Every once in a while I'll like check my falsettos and see if I'm missing any keys. Mm-hmm. That way I can be like, hey guys, just so you know, I am going to mess up this part. I will sound like my balls are dropping. Girls are pretty. Just bear with me. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I have my tools, like the cough drops and the vocal spray. That mint stuff that Graham found that was at Soundcheck. I had to buy a bottle of that. It was expensive as balls, but it works fantastic. But yeah, if I have a beer or a drink, something to loosen up. Although when we played at Melody, that was the first show, and this sounds terrible to say, but that was the first show in God knows how long I didn't drink anything, didn't have an edible, didn't have anything. Just that like
doesn't sound bad.
Dogging this show, and it went good.
A show in my life without being altered.
It felt weird, but it felt good.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not
that
ever.
Just not having anything under the influence of anything. It kind of felt like a high of its own, where I was like, everything's so clear. I can remember stuff, and
I'm sure that also
used my words properly.
And it probably includes being a church camp music director. Also,
you were also on benders back then.
For those two, yeah, yeah.
We were hitting the wine.
Yeah, little extra blood for me.
Here you have superstitions, or
No, I was in like musical theater in high school. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But like, so then, we had, we were told like avoid dairy if you're going to be singing because it would like coat your throat
Yeah, I've
and
heard
fuck you up.
that.
But since like playing in this band, I haven't really followed like any ritual that's
Yeah.
the same every time. I make sure I'm practiced up and run the harmonies or whatever.
Right. Warm.
But yeah, but like honestly, I've always, I don't know if it's just the combination of all my different neuroses, but like I've never been good at
My
like,
life is a superstition.
I've never been good at prepping for stuff. Like some people, they would do like if they had to give an oral report, they'd give like they'd like practice in a mirror or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'd get my outline down and I'd like look at it and be like, okay, I know how I'm going to get from that to that, and then I'd stop looking at it because I knew I would do it perfect in the mirror, and then I'd be trying to remember, that point, and I'd jump the gun and I would, I'd skip a point. And it's the same thing like with playing piano, like it's more by feel than by like memory.
Yeah.
And so if I do try to like remind myself, like, don't forget this song has a crazy little F sharp minor thing. Nope.
Right.
Now I'm going to be thinking about F sharp minor and I'm going to jump to
and
it
you
too
can't
soon.
be like, now remember to feel that
Yeah.
F sharp minor.
I just have to like, play it through a couple of times and get the feel right. But then I just got to let it go.
That's what happens to me. That's why I have to play those leads and shit before the show, because I have a hard, I play by feel, like, but I mean, generally, but at shows, I get kind of nervous sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I run those because I fear that I'm going to, if I overthink it, I'll mess up, just like what you said. But now very recently in the last year, since we've been playing all these shows and traveling and shit, I've gotten way better about that. And like, I tell myself, I don't think this qualifies as a superstition or whatever, but I tell myself when I'm up there, like, bro, you've played these songs 1,000 times.
Yep.
You know how they fucking go.
Yep.
The only reason I ever mess up that shit and light me up or brother is because I'm overthinking it.
Right.
It's the only reason.
That's any mistake I've ever made on stage is me going, I'm going to be extra vigilant this time and make sure I'm hitting this note at the exact right. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm just fucking feeling it, it goes just fine. And so, I've
never been able to, until very recently, I've never been able to just let it all go and just I could do it at practice. I could do it with my buddies, but at a show, I've never been able to just like let everything go and just feel everything and not think about it to some degree until this last year.
Yeah.
That's
got to feel liberating.
Yeah.
It wasn't until this band for me.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I mean, beginning, like the first few shows we played, getting my sea legs and stuff, especially like being in a band for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Like, I had that little bit of nerves, but now it's the same thing. I'm just like, I'm playing our songs. I know how they go.
See,
I would call all that like ritual. Like I have a ritual I do where I warm up this and I take this and I do this. I don't have any superstitions, I would say, anyways.
I think I finally got to the point just in the last year where, like, kind of like Hugh said, like, these are our songs, and like we get up to play them. How can you be worried about fucking something up that these people most likely have never heard?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It takes a lot of
the musicians in our band are pretty fucking good, really, and so like. There's that, and then
we can always recover.
And even if I botch something completely,
yeah, and then you're playing your own stuff, and I've finally just accepted, like, I'm playing with a bunch of really good musicians around me.
It's live music,
and
baby.
We're playing our own shit, and who cares even if I do mess up? I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is liberating.
Yeah,
it's a cool feeling.
I don't know. I don't get on the. I've never been really superstitious about anything though. Well, that's like when we got the tattoos done. This is still a significant happening in my life.
Exactly.
So why not commemorate it?
Yeah. If I would have run out and got a Hayfield tattoo, a week after the first Michigan trip, that would have been like, oh man,
we would have gave you some funny looks.
You're a little committed.
We probably kicked you out just because of that.
That's some
just
single
to laugh about it.
That's some single white female shit, dude.
Dude, he got the tattoo. We have to fire him.
I'm gonna walk in my house. Hugh's gonna be wearing my clothes. Like, I'm Hayfield now too. I'm like,
I've got
you gotta leave, man.
I've got a mop on my head.
Yeah,
I'm Mikey.
I'm Mikey too. Like,
Whit
you
puts
gotta
the keyboard
get
in the
out of my
basket.
house, dude. How'd
Would you
get in
frontman me?
Yeah.
I'd frontman me so hard.
Frontman me so hard.
Oh shit.
People think it's like tempting fate, and I've stopped believing in that. I grew up Irish Catholic, so like
You got that guilty.
I had this weird thing with guilt, and it wasn't like, and it's weird because you hear about it. It's a common thing that people talk about, and it was never like taught to me. Like people weren't like, you should feel guilty. It's just something that just kind of I just absorbed. And I don't know what it was, but it was like anytime I felt like I was feeling good or enjoying myself or like on top of the world,
right.
I was just like,
When's the
I must
drop?
be doing something wrong.
Right.
And something must be. And now
I'm not supposed to have fun in this world.
Yeah.
No, because you were born a sinner. And,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's born a sinner.
And part of it was
I
from
grew
like
up like that too when I was little.
All you guys got to do is tell somebody about it on Sunday, though, and it's cool.
yeah, but that was so yeah. That.
But
I'm
what
not-
if you die on
I'm
Saturday?
I'm not even gonna go into.
What if you die on
confession.
Saturday?
No, like growing up, I had undiagnosed anxiety for most of my life, and so I didn't realize it until I was way older. I used to think that if I was doing really good in one part of my life, you know, like having a lot of fun with my friends and things were going really well, or my schoolwork was going really well, or I was like, you know, being a good son, not getting in trouble around the house. I started to notice a pattern where if one thing was feeling really good, I'd be like, the other shoe's about to drop. And sure enough, bad report card, something.
You would will that shit into existence.
Well, what I didn't realize as a fucking kid was that was happening because I was doing well in this part of my life because I was zoning all of my concentration into it to make that happen.
That's true.
To the, you
Makes
know,
sense.
and that was letting other shit fall off the map. And I didn't realize until I was older. I was like, oh, I just needed like medicine.
Oh, I got more than one plate to keep spinning here.
Yeah. And so I got a little better at it, but that like little bit of like, don't acknowledge things are good because you're tempting it. That stuck with me until we recorded in New York with this band.
No
and
shit.
We had a really good.
That was like your epiphany moment.
Yeah, we had an awesome day at the studio. We were all writing. We came back. We were all drinking around the table
Brandon
at
was
the Airbnb.
coherent.
Brandon was just about wrapping up a bottle of Maker's Mark, and
about to make bad decisions.
and
Get
we
on
were
a rocket ship.
But I was just like, I was like, for the first time in my life, I was like, I didn't even realize what the word being present, you know, meant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I was, and when I was about to go to bed, I was like looking in the mirror and I was like, just shut the fuck up and enjoy this.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to say, life is good right now.
Hell yeah.
And don't like wait for the crack of lightning and a terrible call from the family. Like there's a tragedy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know? And like, cause I literally, until I was in almost 40, I was like, I'm not superstitious, but I'm also not going to say my life is good. What are you, fucking crazy?
Your life is good, dude.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so I was terrified to do that until
Man needs to listen to Ram Dass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you need to listen to Ram
Du
Dass.
hast.
No, Ram Dass. Yeah.
Run,
I saw it. That's when he shoots the rocket with his dingus, right?
Mhm.
Hits the light and stuff and explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Ram Dass.
Well, that's good that you found that.
Hell
that
yeah,
way
man. It's
with
liberating as hell.
Dude, yeah, because it was the band that brought that to me, because I was like literally looking at myself in the mirror like, you're not going to ruin this moment.
You is welcome. No.
Yeah, but like that's extended to other stuff. Like
Hell yeah.
I'll be at home with my wife and we'll be like having a really nice night in, and I'm like, man, I've got this fucking peaceful setting.
Yeah.
You know, a warm house, you know, a wife and a dog, and then something in my brain used to say like, well, guess what? Someone in your family is going to be dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, shut the fuck up.
It's
Even
like-
if that happens, it doesn't
See,
relate
That's
to
like
this.
your subconscious
thing.
trying to keep you in check.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
one thing that I can't connect those two in my brain, because even if something bad does happen the next day, that doesn't negate that previous moment. That previous moment was still nice and perfect and everything, and it's not related to that.
I used to
In my head.
I used to link them though. It would
Yeah,
be like
that could be a problem.
Every time I thought about the good night, I'd be like, oh yeah, that was the night that I got the call, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I would equate those two. and be like,
Yeah,
this is what you've done.
That's troublesome.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. And I grew up thinking like, man, people with mental health problems, that must suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was the
had
same way.
no
So
idea.
so up until recently, then you did have some superstition. It's just you
Yeah,
didn't have
that's
control
definitely a
over it.
It wasn't a
superstition.
pre-show
Yeah,
superstition.
Yeah, you
it was
just didn't have control over it. Like it don't matter what socks I wear. It doesn't matter how
Dude,
many
I
times
used to
I
be
lock
like
the
that
door.
too. I used to be just exactly like what you're talking about. I relate to that. Like when I was young and I grew up going to church and all that, we lived in the church. We were there fucking 3-4 days a week. So my mom was the pianist, my dad was a youth pastor, and my whole family was involved. We were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday, and then 2 other days for my mom to practice. So we grew up in this place.
Yeah.
And I had that religious guilt as a kid. They teach it to you.
Hence the new song.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
I mean, you're taught that from like I said earlier, like, you're born a sinner and that's what you're taught to believe. And you can never achieve, this
Perfect state.
Yeah, you can't, because only
Yeah.
God can be perfect,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can only try, but they teach you can try to be as good as possible, but you'll never be good enough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so you keep it, that keeps you somehow in some sort of check, which is what it's designed to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had that for a long time too. When I finally broke out of that, and you talk about being present and all those things, of course, we all study those things now, but like, when I finally realized what those things were and how they worked, it was life-changing for me.
Yeah.
Now my life is mostly good. Even when things don't look or appear to be good for me, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just keep telling myself, I'm just like, yeah, it could all be gone tomorrow, and that's not going to change the fact that today
Exactly.
is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a very difficult thing for me to acknowledge.
Animals will pull at my heartstrings a lot quicker than humans will.
Hell yeah.
Like
They
the
didn't do
last
anything
one
to
that got
deserve it.
me, dude, the anglerfish got me.
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Especially
shit
that
made me
comic,
sad.
dude.
Yeah.
Because it was like
That
it
comic.
came to the surface. It wanted to see what was up here before it died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it had some kind of gas imbalance and made it more buoyant or something.
Megan
Yeah.
told me that
Maybe.
today, and I told her, I said, that actually makes me kind of sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Like that little comic that
Oh,
I found
God, yeah.
online. Like, well, I want to see what kind of beauty's out there. I would have never known
You-
if I hadn't went out here.
Yeah, maybe it was just like a fish that came out of like, he didn't want to be in Plato's cave anymore, and he just decided he wanted to see what sunlight and shit was like.
Dude, I've thought about that. As terrible as it sounds, like if I was ever diagnosed terminal something.
You go sky.
No, but I might
mountain climbing.
I might try some
Bull riding,
illegal substances and shit like just to see what they're
like
like.
bufo.
Why not?
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Like,
I really would. Which
No
sounds
different
crazy
than the
for me.
anglerfish.
What's
Yeah.
bufo?
Bufo
Oh.
is like toad venom.
It's crystallized toad venom, and they say it's like 50 times stronger than.
I'll put it like this.
ayahuasca.
Neil Brennan said he did bufo and he aimed for God and missed his stop.
I remember that quote. I didn't realize it was about bufo.
Yeah.
I know a guy who did it. I mean, actually, for a guy here in Decatur.
Yeah.
And
Ben,
how's
we
he
can say
doing now?
Ben.
Yeah. He said it changed
It
his
changed
life.
his life, dude. And I could see a change in his personality.
I
and
could
shit.
too. When he was telling me, he got all wide eyed and he
He's
was telling me all
so
about
much
it.
happier and
He
just-
told me
yeah.
he met a guy. So it's a native thing, right? So I don't remember where he went.
It's got to
do
be
it.
administered by a shaman.
Yeah,
and shit. It
it
was
was
like
like-
New Mexico or Arizona.
Yeah, it was like Arizona
something.
or something. And so there's a shaman, the whole thing. They go in a tent. Actually, I think he had to go into like a sweat. What do they call it?
Sauna?
The hot tent.
Yeah, it was kind of like a hot.
What the fuck they call that? It's like a sweat tent or something. Lodge, like a sweat lodge.
Yeah.
So he had to go in there with the shaman, and you got to do that for a while, for like an hour or two or something like that.
Cleanse your body of
Yep.
impurities.
And
and all
then
that.
you sit down and the shaman talks, like they tell you all about how this is going to work and what's going to happen. There has to be a doctor there. There actually has to be a doctor.
like a
Excuse me.
doctor.
Yeah. To bring
Not
you,
a ooh ee ooh ah ah.
at least where he went, and to bring you back. And he said that the whole thing only lasted like 30 minutes,
No shit.
but he said that it felt like days. He's like, dude,
Yeah.
I asked
He
him,
was like, time kind of didn't exist.
that's what he told me. I said,
Yeah.
what was it like? And he was like, it was like nothing I can describe, but it was like time didn't exist. Like you're just,
See, I would try it as long as there's someone there to like make sure I don't do something out of pocket. You know,
It's
like
my roller coaster rule, dude. I don't do roller coasters anymore because they beat the shit out of me and my whole body hurts the next day. But when I was younger and not as beat upable and still as fat, when I was getting on a coaster that looked scary, I would look for someone like a kid, and I'd look for someone fatter than me. And if they made it off, that means the rails weren't going to break or the buckles or anything like that because their fat ass got through the ride. So I'll be fine. So when you got a shaman, this is how it links back to what we're talking about. When you got a shaman and a physician there that do this shit all day, every day with different people, lick a toad, lick a toad, lick a toad, then you don't feel like you're in as much danger because all these people are coming out of it all right.
Yeah.
I want to know, because you always get stories that somehow make it to every certain grade. Like everybody in 6th grade or whatever year you were around when Marilyn Manson was around, everybody heard the rib thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever hear in school, we heard a drug story that some kid took too much acid and thought he was a glass of orange juice. And if he laid down, he would spill. So he had to like stay upright all the time. And he's in the mental institution and blah, blah, blah. Did you guys have that story?
I don't know if it was juice, but I heard something
like that. Or a glass of milk. It was like he was a glass of something.
That, but I think I might have heard it from you. I'm not sure. I don't remember that in school or anything.
We had that. And then I talked to my buddy that went to school clear across town. He's like, oh, yeah, I heard that. Then I went to college in Indianapolis. And some of those guys had heard it at their schools.
Did you hear about
I'm
the juice guy?
That's one of those things that just gets around.
Huh.
Weird.
Like whatever the kids came up with, the guy in the woods, Slender Man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, shit like that.
Yeah.
But now they have the internet. Those stories can travel.
Yeah.
We had Oregon Trail. We didn't have shit.
Yeah.
So how the hell do the stories jump around?
Yeah, the word of mouth, that's like someone's cousin fucking
Yeah.
going to visit someone in Florida and telling them, and
Mhm.
it fucking spreads like old
Playing
school word
telephone.
of mouth stuff. Yeah.
That's weird how that shit happens.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Where are we at time-wise?
We're about wrapping up time.
Hell yeah. Well, you know what that means. You should like, you should follow, you should subscribe. Come check us out when we're in your town. Go ahead and say it.
Smash the like button.
There you go.
Don't do that.
Smash the like button.
I mean, like it, but
And reimagine a subscribe.
Comment, tell your friends, all that jazz. We're Harlem Hayfield. This has been Musicians Force the Podcast. We'll see you next time.
bye-bye.